Hey y'all, Professor Kilowatt here, licensed clinical social worker, giving you psychological snapshots of your favorite comic book characters. And today, we're covering one of my favorite characters, Charles Xavier, also known as Professor X. Professor X loves exceptionalism, in the sense that X-Men is nothing but exceptionalism, and within its diversity and the intersectionalities of all of those who end up at Xavier's School for the Gifted. They all come with varying diversity and dynamics and experiences, but none are more under the watchful eye of Professor X than that of Jean Grey. Jean Grey also mirrors some of the same psychological powers in which Professor X does, telekinesis, the availability to read minds, and also can actually operate Cerebro, which takes a Omega level mutant in order to be able to do with a power level or a telekinesis level to be able to utilize it properly. But why does Charles Xavier limit or create barriers in the mind of Jean Grey to limit her availability for her power? Now, he promotes the fact that powers should be used and people should be able to live in harmony, but in all actuality, he puts a protective casing around Jean Grey because she is more powerful than he is. So when we actually look at what we would call a savior complex, we're looking at a man's ego. We're looking at a man's ego to not be able to see outside of himself, in the sense of, and this word is important, metacognition. Being able to see outside of your own experiences. What's the irony of the person who can read everyone else's minds can't see out of his own experiences when it comes to Jean Grey? When he is afraid that if she becomes too powerful, that she literally could doom everyone. But his paranoia and his inability to grasp with something that he doesn't understand makes him essentially enable her, encapsulate her, imprison her in her own mind to the point where she doesn't even know, so that when she does get some understanding and get some insight to what has been done to her by the person who's supposed to be her protector, who has created what we would call disorganized attachment, in the sense of the same source of your safety is also your source of fear, and not see the Phoenix Saga more or less manifests itself based on someone being held back, someone being pressed down, someone being oppressed mentally by the person that they trust the most. So when we talk about the psychological underpinnings of Jean Grey, we're also talking about the psychological underpinnings of Professor X and their dynamic, and how we see disorganized attachment, which is coming from the father figure and his savior complex. But it is also the thing that essentially breaks, or more or less causes, the issues that come out of the Phoenix Saga with Jean Grey turning into the Dark Phoenix. Again, based on unprocessed trauma. And Professor X did not assist her with processing any trauma, but rather simply tried to keep it from her purview, keep it from her lens, keep it from her mind's eye, her availability to see it, so that when it is something that she has actively or inactively been avoiding, it's something that she doesn't know what to do with. Therefore, out of all the people that Charles Xavier taught, the one person he did not teach was Jean Grey. What do you guys think about this? Like us and comment in the section below. I really want to know what you think. See you next time.